Okay, so just out of the meeting with Aidan, spot on guy. Jesus, it's all suddenly become quite real. I just have to realise as well. It's the FAI, the football, the FAI. Look, and that's why the FAI. How's it going down, boy? Right, okay. I did have a camera with me, so I was going to do, like I thought I was doing, film the initial kind of thing, but it was unnecessary. We just had a coffee and a chat and whatever. Really, really good. I'm really happy. So we're going out on the water next Monday. So he's going to go through the basics and to start, because there's a lot involved in this between, forget about the endurance, but you're talking different muscles. Like you do something. Oh yeah, endurance is endurance, but if you're running or cycling is a hell of a lot different than sitting down for 8-10 hours, basically trapped into a plastic, into a kayak, and you're going to be using core and using legs. It's just different muscle groups, everything. So there's a lot to be done. Again, so we've got technique and there's fitness, etc., and basically safety, because I'm going to be out there on my own and I haven't got a clue. So there's issues about, what do I do about capsizing and can I right myself, etc. So it was an initial meeting. I did have the camera, but it wasn't that time. Well, he'll be on camera next week. There's no problem. It was just pointless putting it on. This is just a quick meet and greet. And so I'm going to keep this really quick. I'm finishing now, actually, because I'm hungry. It's 1:25. I'm going home. So Shannon 300 is very much on. It now starts to get real from now on. All right, see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, here we are again. Recording this on my phone facing towards me, so looks a bit rough, but anyway, so here we are again. Last time you saw me was outside Canoeing Ireland, and now here we are a week later, and I'm heading down to the training centre, Canoeing Ireland Training Centre, to meet Aidan, and he's going to take me out in the river in me kayak and give me a bit of a refresher. And because it's only 2 months to go, 2 months tomorrow. So yeah, this should be a bit of crack. Weather's gorgeous, beautiful sunny day, which is typical for Ireland. We get this all year round. And but yeah, so let's see how it goes. Hopefully have a bit of a laugh, bit of fun, and see how bad I really am. So chat you all later. Bye bye. Okay, we're here. Quick introduction to Aidan.
Morning, how you all doing?
So Aidan is he's going to be the main man. He's going to sort me out on this. Hopefully he's not going to promise anything, because obviously he can't. Only this lunatic can. So he's going to at least try and set me on the right path.
Yeah, definitely give you some tips and tricks on how to complete your challenge for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. So we're going to get into the water now. We're going to get into our gear.
Yeah, get into the water first and then onto the water.
I'm going to stick a couple of GoPros on both of us, some microphones, and who knows how it's going to go. We'll have a chat later on.
Let's go. Okay, so we're just going to look at a few kind of basic principles of kayaking on the land. Just give me an impression of where you're at and what we can work on when we get onto the water, and just giving you those tips and tricks to how to improve you to create that efficiency so you can complete your challenge.
Cool.
So I suppose the first things first is, how do you hold your paddle, and in what way you're holding your paddle. So if you just want to put your paddle up there like you would hold it like you were paddling normally. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so a couple of things that are going to be important. As much as possible, you're going to try to keep that wrist joint nice and square.
Okay.
And the same on this side. Okay, so obviously you'll know that you'll have to turn that it's trying to make sure that joint isn't off center, that your arms aren't too wide, making any turn like that. Okay, so the wrist isn't very strong in these areas here. So if it's turned like this, it'll cause strain here and it'll get tired and sore.
Okay.
And the other thing to concentrate on when you're paddling is, every time you're pushing forward with your top hand on the long journey, try to get used to opening your hand, giving it a bit of rest as you're paddling. So if I'm paddling here on my left side, I'm going to pull that through the water. This arm is kind of relatively holding firmly onto the paddle, but this arm pushing can be relatively
really rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll stop that. If you're clenched like this for a long period of time, you're really going to start feeling it in your forearms, getting a lot of arm pump and really struggling and creating soreness in the joints, wrist, shoulder wrist, elbow and shoulder. So
Okay.
just be aware of those things. The other thing then in terms of the efficiency, where does our power come from in our paddling?
Shoulders. Core.
Your feet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you think of it like a boxer, okay, so if you think of it like if I'm jabbing you, okay, that's a fast, yeah? So my arm is involved in the jab. If I was boxing, that's a fast movement, yeah? Whereas if I wanted to hit you with a right hook, that comes from my feet. And I start by turning my body into it, and that would be the right hook to get you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same in kayaking, that if you want to do small, quick adjustments, so changing your paddle from side to side, your arms are involved in that, but actually powering the kayak forward, feet, quads, core, torso, and then the arms are just a guide for the paddle.
Okay.
And it's going to be really important for you to get yourself into that habit of pushing off your footrest with your feet, yeah.
Okay.
And then driving the boat pushing the boat forward with your feet rather than pulling it forward with your arms. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep, yep.
So when we get on the water, we're going to look at that a lot more.
Excellent.
That brings me on to the next point then, is what's the most important piece of outfitting in your boat?
Your seat. Your footrest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so making sure that you have your footrest adjusted properly and that your boat is comfortable for you is going to be the next thing.
Cool.
Okay, the backrest is not hugely important. What the backrest is useful for is if you fall upside down, it kind of keeps you in the boat,
okay,
so you can recover yourself if you need to. But essentially you should be able to paddle correctly without having a back band too tight.
Okay.
Sometimes if your back band is too tight, it'll cause a little bit of discomfort. So definitely when you're journeying along, you want to be, but that'll mean that you'll have to use your core to sit you upright in the boat and make sure that your posture is good as you're paddling. So if you just want to jump into your boat there real quick and we'll see how your posture is. So you should have the ball of your foot on the, I imagine it's a foot peg and not a foot plate.
It's a plate.
Oh, it's a plate.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So your ball of your foot should be on the plate either side. Your heels should be kind of in like this, and there shouldn't be a big bend in your ankle here.
No.
So it should be kind of
Like that, yeah.
bend. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So, and then just looking at you now, right? You're kind of leaning back against the backrest ever so slightly. So what I would want you to think about is, imagine if I had a string attached to your head here, yeah, and I pulled you up tall, yeah. That's how I want you to sit in the boat, and to sit slightly forward. Yeah, so you're in that complete neutral position, and that's the position that you're going to have the maximum amount of power and mobility for.
Would I adjust the backrest then to compensate for that?
No, you're going to adjust your core
Okay.
to do that for you. Yeah, and you can bring the backrest in your sea kayak. You might have a more adjustable backrest. You can adjust that just to be touching off your back, and when you feel yourself touching the backrest, you know, I'm not doing it right.
To lean forward.
I'm getting tired, yeah, I'm getting lazy, I'm not being able to. So that's why the core stability is going to be really important for you on your journey, and where your off the water training should be focused on is building this core. And you're going to be engaging your quads and the tie rest in your boat to pull your hips forward to make that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like when you're sitting normally, if we're sitting at a computer or whatever, this is kind of the position that we would have. Yeah, we would kind of like this. Yeah. But we'll want to be like this when we're paddling. So we'll be bringing our pelvis back, our shoulders back, everything nice and straight, sitting up in that good, powerful position.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I suppose we have a couple of safety considerations before we get on the water. Firstly, we're going to be using spray decks, okay? So we have to make sure that you can get out of a spray deck. So we're going to go through just a quick little land drill. So if you want to throw on your spray deck. Okay. Great. So what I want you to do with your eyes closed, okay, is to put your hands on the side of the boat or on the cockpit rim. Yeah. Run your hands up to the yellow strap. Okay. Pull it. Bring your hands back to your hips and push your bum out of the seat. Okay. So that will be the exit drill. If you go upside down, that's what you'll have to do upside down underwater. So it's worth your while refamiliarizing yourself with that. so that it becomes muscle memory rather than you trying to take it off with your knees or freaking out or trying to swim up to the side. That your first, if you fall over, your first kind of thing is to go for the spray deck correctly and push yourself out.
Rim, locate, pull.
Yeah. But for us, if that happens today, that's probably the first protocol. The other side of things, if you feel comfortable, just stay in your boat and I'll come in and I'll bring you back up. Okay, and we can, maybe the next day we might work on like kind of rescues and exercises. But if you do fall over today and you feel happy upside down, just stay in there and I'll flip you back up without you having to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I'll work on that.
Yeah. Because it is nice if you're learning stuff. The more advanced skills, you keep falling out and you having to come out of your boat and empty your boat every time. Just
hold my breath and
just if you're happy to hang in there. Sometimes people get a little bit nervous being upside down, but if you're happy to stay in there, I can bring you back up.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Excellent.
So that's what we're going to kind of focus on when we get on the water. Just that posture very much, and how we create efficient movement with our paddle. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's go and get on the water. It definitely loosens it up. Yeah, so when you're ready, Gary.
Right, there's a new one for me now.
Just slide in and lean forward as you go in. There you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to head downstream. I'm not going to say anything for the first while, so don't be alarmed by that. I'm just going to watch you paddle for a while, yeah? So just remember straight away that posture, yeah? Trying to sit tall. Yeah, I'm going to sound like a teacher all day. Where I'm
that's good.
Sit up straight. But just I want you to think about that for now.
Okay.
Forget about the rest of it. Just think about sitting up straight and tall in your boat and paddle away. And I'm going to have a look as you paddle. And we just enjoy the sunshine.
For a change, while we have it.
Yeah. Okay, Gary, we'll stop there. So, where are you feeling it in your body?
My lower back.
Okay. So as well as those core muscles need strengthening, your lower back muscles are going to need a bit of work as well. Yeah, if you're feeling that already in your lower back. And it's unusual to sit up straight without any postural support from a backrest or whatever.
Because I didn't feel it before, like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't feel, I didn't have the pain, but I wasn't sitting up for it. I was basically lounged like that a few weeks ago. So that's definitely something I need to strengthen over the next couple of months. So
cool.
That's why I'm feeling it now.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else is fine.
Which is good. Okay. And then the other thing, I suppose, is what parts of your body are you using to move the boat forward at the moment?
It's the arms, but I'm very conscious of what you're saying about the feet.
Okay.
So I'm not really too sure what I'm supposed to be doing with them. I'm conscious of, some action power is supposed to be coming from my feet. So I'm concentrating on the feel of my feet.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of thinking, all right, what I'm actually feeling in my, I'm trying to consciously think of each element of where am I feeling it, as opposed to just paddling willy-nilly and not actually thinking of where the power is coming from. So as I'm actively thinking, I'm not feeling it. I don't know where I'm doing it or what I should be doing with my feet.
Yeah.
But at least I am thinking that I should be feeling something there.
Important.
So I'm trying to not focus on my arms, but focus on what my legs, or where am I feeling it in my legs and my feet at the moment.
Okay.
So.
Where would you think you should be using the pressure on your feet? What part of the stroke do you think? And on which foot should you be pushing off?
Left and left, right and right?
I think so, yeah. You can play around with left, right, right, left, but it's I find it difficult to stay in that rhythm.
Okay, now that you've mentioned that, so now that
so
you've made me think about it.
When do you start pushing?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I'm trying different feet now.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to work that. It feels more natural initially. Left, right, right.
I would stick with left, right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other way just feels like I'm trying to rub my head and
exactly.
tap my stomach at the same time.
And if you think about you trying to do that unconsciously for 10 hours, like you don't want to be committing any effort to having to think about how you paddle.
That's true.
Yeah, you just want to be paddling correctly and efficiently without having to commit any brain power to it. So I would stick with left, left, right, right.
Cool.
Okay, but whereabouts in the stroke do you start pushing with your feet?
The moment I'm about to start the pull.
And if you push with your feet and don't do anything with your paddle, just leave your paddle on your deck and just push with your feet, yeah? What happens to your lower body and how does that affect your upper body? But what's happening to your pelvis?
Yeah, it's swiveling.
Okay, so that's what the push is. So the push of your feet allows your torso to move. Okay?
Okay.
So when you push with that foot, you're winding yourself up for the next stroke, and then you push with that one.
Yes.
So not only are you getting the drive, but you're also activating your torso to get into the rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah?
I can feel that now. Okay, now that I'm thinking, yes.
Yeah? And then if you're sitting up straight and activating that, then you're and that's why some people would say that's why having a really tight backrest is a bad idea, because
doing
it'll
that now,
stop that pelvis moving.
It's actually so much. Yeah, it's instead of I'm engaging so much. If I didn't before.
Yeah.
Just I'm doing normally. I'm not even looking up the fit, and there's so much. So I am actively putting so much pressure on top and on my back.
Sure.
But now it's just like my arms are just swinging there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm actually engaging the pelvis and okay, wow.
And all you have to think about is pushing with your feet.
Yeah.
As a way of that your legs are connected to the rest of your body, enacts the rest of the stuff. Now what I want you to try do is to be a little bit less Beyonce or Shakira, and don't wiggle the hips from side to side.
Right.
The motion is the hips are doing this, not, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So what you're looking at when I'm seeing you figuring out the movement, this is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Okay? And that's going to be a really inefficient movement.
Yeah.
So what you want to try to do is to keep the boat flat and straight, but still pushing the boat forward.
I'm overthinking it now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling it, and I'm feeling what I shouldn't be doing. So
That's okay.
That's
good.
I know what needs to be worked on.
So what we're going to do is we're going to exacerbate the movement or exaggerate the movement a little bit. Okay, so what I want you to do is bring your hands in about a hand width or maybe even 2 hand widths, okay, inside where you normally would. And I want you to think about getting your elbows out. Yeah, so if you're on a motorbike, well, maybe not motorbike, but mountain bike for sure, yeah, you'll want to have this kind of square posture, yeah?
Okay.
So think about when you're paddling to try keeping your elbows up a little bit, okay? So that if it's like this, it's just your shoulders that are doing all the work, yeah? So keeping your elbows out in that strong position. Now, it's going to look really weird because your hands are in here. But what your hands are going to get you to do in this position is they're going to force you to have to rotate more, okay? And we're going to over exaggerate that movement so that you can get an appreciation of it, and then you can refine it by bringing your hands back into the correct position and not exaggerating the movement. So we're going to paddle for a bit, and you're going to feel, hopefully you're going to feel the burn for this one. So let's paddle down with our hands a little bit closer together. Really get that upper body movement. That's it. Keep yourself up straight. That's it. Okay, I want you to bring your hands even closer together. So this is kind of taking your arms out of it, and you have to use your body to get it going forward now. So it's not about power at this point. Okay, it's about using that technique. So again, just sitting up, yeah, engage that core to it. Use your feet to push. Okay, and stop there. How does that feel?
Tough.
What parts of your body are hurting?
Actually, but just more the arms.
Okay, so actually holding the weight in that position is quite hard, isn't it?
So, absolutely.
And that's that heavy paddle.
Yeah.
So when you're choosing your paddle, get a nice light one. You're going to be doing what's called a lot of low angle paddles. So you're going to be doing a lot of paddling that we're doing where we keep our paddles low. So you could get away with having a smaller power face to your paddle.
Okay.
Okay, and a light one will be good. and then one with not 90 degrees of feather on it. You know what I mean by feather?
Yeah, because there's a lot more to turn.
So every time you're going to be yanking
turning
on the
from
throttle with
90s,
your hand, yeah. And then the wind. Well, the 90 degree is better for the wind, but not better for your wrists.
Yeah.
So if you could get one, if your sponsors were going to provide you with one with an adjustable feather would be great, because if you were paddling into a big wind one of the days, you could adjust the feather and make it a little bit easier. So as I push your paddle through the wind, you see how it cuts through the wind?
Yeah.
Whereas if you do on mine,
Oh yeah, it'll be
it'll catch the wind, yeah. So that's why you can adjust the feather a bit more. That one is longer as well. So this is probably a 194 centimeter paddle. That's a 200 centimeter paddle. So a longer paddle will be good for you as well. Somewhere between probably 200 and 215 is what you might be looking for as well.
This makes such a massive difference. Massive difference.
Well, I think about it, like this is a good training paddle,
Yeah.
because get used to lifting this paddle will create the strength in your shoulders and your arms that you'll want. But on the trip, you don't want to be fatigued by this, which you definitely would be.
I'm enjoying this now.
So again, we're just going to try to get ourselves into that unconscious competence level with our paddling. So we're sitting up nice and straight, pushing with our feet. And that's going to require, for a while, it's going to require you to think and feel a lot until it becomes second nature to you. Okay, so we're going to go to the bridge from here. We're going to see what effort we can generate, okay? So we're going to start off at 45% of your maximum effort, 50% of your maximum effort, and see if we can get just beyond the bridge. We'll do a 100% effort.
Okay.
So how fast can you make the boat go while still maintaining that technique?
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
All right, so from here on, 50%. So how would I judge 50%? We should be able to paddle, but still hold a short conversation. So see, I'm gonna gauge my. You can see if you can keep up with what I think 50% of your effort is. Oh my God, this paddle is horrible. Okay, let's go to 70. So try stay with me. Still good?
Yep. My biggest problem is keeping straight.
Yeah. So try stay with me. Keep on that technique. Keep pushing with your feet. Okay. We're going to try and maintain that till we get to the bridge. Okay.
Okay.
And from the bridge, from the far side of the bridge, we're going to try to go as hard as we can.
Okay. I'll probably end up on the shore, on the bank.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Maximum effort. Go, go, go. That's it, pushing with your feet all the time. Okay, good, stop. How was that?
Yeah. Apart, it's just yeah, it's keeping control.
Yeah.
It's trying to keep straight and yeah, no, I'm feeling it. I'm better than I thought I'd be. I'm kind of concentrating on the on the feet and what they're doing and the pushing. So I guess it's good to have, when you have something to think of, to concentrate on.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of the fatigue.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of the actual effort. So so to have that to concentrate on. Yeah, maybe it could well be the paddle, but I'm surprised I actually stayed as straight as I did. I thought I'd be end up in there. But then that could easily be me now focusing on the feet.
Because you're pushing with your feet and looking where
Yeah.
you're going, you'd think the boat would keep you that little bit straighter.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't need to make anywhere near as many corrections as I thought I would.
No, and you're
I'd
doing
have
pretty
to-
good. Yeah, you're like, that's a reasonable. So I suppose like that 50-60% effort is what you're going to have to kind of keep going. You know, like you'll know from training and stuff that'll be your zone one.
That was nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying that. I was actually enjoying that as well more for a buzz, like, you know.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, yeah, fucking, like, you know, power on a bit.
So I suppose from looking at you for the last while coming down, just that posture is
Need
going
to
to
keep
be
focusing on that, yeah.
So what you could do is, if you want to do it as a training tool, is to get a tennis ball, put a tennis ball in there,
Okay.
and you have to hold the tennis ball.
Yeah.
And anytime that you do that, the tennis
I'm gonna
ball
feel
will
it.
fall out, so you'll know.
I get you.
Or put the tennis ball behind you and duct tape it to your backrest. And anytime you're touching that, you know you're leaning back, your posture's not great.
And as our dog is absolutely obsessed with tennis balls, there's about 15 of them sitting around our house, so no problem.
So like in under there will help you kind of keep your core and keep your posture kind of forward and upright. And then behind you will stop you, so you can play around with which one will kind of will work for you as an indication.
Cool.
And then the other thing that we're definitely seeing a little bit here, which in a way for the long distance paddle is not such a bad thing, but if you want to kind of create a little bit more efficiency, is getting those elbows up and getting the paddle up off the deck a little bit. Yeah. So as you paddle now, you're quite flat and quite low. You're paddling a lot like this.
So I need to elbows up and more dig in.
Yeah. So if you want it, like, so if we wanted to go, if we wanted to accelerate and sprint there, we would be paddling using a high angle. Yeah, so we're getting the paddle as close to us as possible in a high angle. When we're cruising, we can bring a slightly low angle, but we don't really want it to be just off of here. Yeah, so which is kind of your default, which will be your position when you're tired, unless you work really hard between now and then to correct. You'll be paddling like this, and that's all shoulders. It's very hard to engage the rest of your body if your elbows are tucked into it.
I can actually, when I raise my arms, when I raise my shoulders, I can feel it more in my hips.
Yeah.
So once I'm actually doing it, I'm feeling it now, in movement in my hips.
And then the other thing that we want to correct with the paddle is where it comes out of the water.
Okay.
Okay. So can you tell me, I'll give you a little think. We'll paddle down towards the gates and the thing, and you can think about it. Is there any downside from having the paddle go past your hips in terms of efficiency? So let's just paddle.
A downside?
Yeah, so a negative to letting the paddle, because that's what you're doing at the moment, is the paddle goes past your hip. Can you tell me a negative, why I might say to you that that's not maybe the best thing to be doing?
I can't, no.
Paddle and have a think about it.
As I'm thinking of, from a swimming point of view, as one of my biggest faults, and there are many in my swimming, is that I would short pull. I'd pull my arm out too soon instead of pushing back more. So maybe I'm in my mind thinking, okay, it's more efficient to pull the whole way through to get maximum power.
The efficiency and the reach is got from going forward, not from elongating it behind you.
Okay.
Okay. And then you could probably figure it out from swimming as well, but it'll have a much more dramatic effect, because if you look at the difference in paddle size to hand size, to what dragging your paddle past your hips will do.
Okay.
So even if I just, like, I'll give you a couple of demos here, right? So watch the angle of the paddle in particular, right?
Okay, it goes more into a flat, I get you.
So the paddle is going past my hips, past
so
my
once
hips.
it's actually not pushing, it's only pushing up, it's not pushing back.
Exactly, so if I'm pushing up, Newton's third law, the boat's pushing down. Equal opposite reaction.
Okay.
So I'm actually creating drag in the boat.
I get you.
So I'm dragging the back of the
swim,
boat.
You'd be still, hand is full down. You're still keeping your hand back. You're still keeping your paddle vertical when you're swimming, but obviously you
can't
move
do that
hand,
here.
You can't do it. Okay.
So you create a little bit of drag. So what you want to do is you want to have the paddle kind of exiting just about here.
Right there, which would be 90 degrees.
Yeah. So, and you can tell that there's a sound that your paddle will make when you're taking it out of the water properly. It's that sound.
I get you.
Yeah? So when you're doing it right, it's that sound. When you do it like there, it's that sound.
Fantastic.
So you can listen to the sound. So you should hear that, like, it even sounds fast. Or it doesn't sound at all, even better.
No, Yeah, this is like me in fecking swimming. The moment I start concentrating on the legs, the arms feck up, and when it all comes together, you can feel it. It's just so much more effortless. It's just that when it came all together before I overthunk something and it went down again. But
and that's what it's about for you on this journey. It's going to be minimum effort, maximum efficiency. Yeah. Because if you try to put maximum effort and minimum efficiency, you're just going to fatigue your muscles and hurt yourself.
Okay, oh, that's cool.
Okay, so while on your trip you probably won't be doing a huge amount of maneuvering, but we're going to look at a little bit of maneuvering now, just to give you again the basic efficiency principles of making your strokes that little bit more efficient. And everything for us is about trying to save energy, because we are the engines. So how do you turn your boat?
With the hips.
Okay, show me. So what are you doing there?
Swiveling, probably a bit too much Beyonce.
Yeah. So what are the different ways that a boat can turn?
With a paddle, primarily with a paddle.
Okay, so you can use the paddle, but what sort of turning do you get out of that?
Could do a full 180.
You can do a full 180, but what's the boat doing?
Swiveling around.
Or spinning?
Spinning around.
Yeah, okay. So there's spin momentum, okay? That's one way to turn it. And then there's carve momentum, okay? Carve momentum you use leaning to engage the edges on your boat to turn it.
Okay.
And that can be if you want to turn a carve a turn. Okay, if I want to change direction really quickly, I'm going to use the spin momentum of the boat and spin it around. Okay, so what would be the difference that I would use for the paddle for this?
Carving, more efficient. If you're going to use your paddle to turn.
We'll just focus on how would I use my paddle with spin momentum to turn my boat. What are you doing with your paddle?
Alternating.
Okay, yeah. Can you do the same thing if you keep the paddle on the same side? So just use one side. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
What muscles are you using right now?
Probably the arm.
Yeah. What muscles should we use? Is that a power move or is that a speed move?
It's a power move.
So what muscles should we use for power moves?
Legs.
And?
Core.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we use that and turn it into a power move? There you go. So what foot are you pushing with?
The left.
Left, yeah? Okay.
So that took me like 3 strokes to get round, whereas before that it took me about 6.
Yeah, you could do it in 1, I would say. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Right, if you engage it properly.
Yeah.
Now, what can you do to even increase that efficiency and effectiveness more? You can engage this upper body a little bit more. And as well as pushing with your foot to create power, you can unload the spring power of your core. Okay, so what I want you to do is when you're going to do your sweep stroke, is I want you to wind up. Yeah, so wind up your body and then push with your foot and release your body at the same time. So wind up your core again on that side, push with your foot and release. Yeah, so your paddle doesn't go like this. Yeah, your body goes.
Spins.
So the space and this shape in here stays the same. It's just your body moves around and unloads the spring and the power of your core. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Let's paddle up here a bit towards this single green gate. So when we want to turn our boat, okay, we want to maximize the leverage that we can get from our paddle. So if I keep my paddle really close to try to do a turning stroke, is that maximizing the lever?
No. Okay.
No. If I bring my paddle out wide, because what's going to happen if I drive my paddle forward here, yeah? Or if I keep my paddle close to my boat, is I'm going to drive the boat forward. but I don't want to drive the boat forward. I want to drive the boat that way. I want to turn it away from the paddle. So if we keep our paddle out to the wide, away from our boat, we're increasing the leverage that we have, and we're changing the force that we're putting in to a turning force rather than a directional straight force. So just focus on keeping the boat flat, okay? Focus on winding up into that turn with your torso and then unloading and pushing. So I like to think of it as my foot pushes the boat away from the paddle rather than the paddle pulling the boat, you know, pulling away from the boat with the paddle. Does that make sense to you? Yeah? So really drive it forward with that foot on that side. Yeah. Okay? Now, do you notice what happened there when you put in a load of effort?
It's bit shaky.
Okay. Why do you think that was?
Probably not.
I don't know how flexible you are, but look behind your boat. Yeah? What do you notice difference between the bit just behind your arse and the bit at the end of your boat? The bit at the end of your boat is wet.
Okay.
Okay? Which means that when you went all the way around,
it dug in.
You put water on top of the boat.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that increased drag.
And that pushing that water into the back of your boat causes that wobble.
Okay. I need to lean far more forward.
Or what else can you do?
Push more on the feet.
Yeah. Or you can stop the paddle going the whole way to the back.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. There's a 360-degree turn with one paddle stroke.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. With no wobble, with correct effort and correct efficiency.
And bugger all effort as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it felt, doesn't it feel smooth?
It was just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes us, in particular us as males, we try solve things with power rather than having technique. And technique has a much better result there for you.
Excellent.
Because when you did it there before with the bad technique, you had that bit of a wobble. And any wobble or any taking the boat on its side at this point will make it lose its spin momentum.
I didn't do that one as good. But I felt the moment I let go, I'm like, no, I messed that one, but...
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to force you not to use power. So I want you to hold it with your index finger and your thumb only. Okay? So if you try power it, it's going to come out of your hand. And as quiet as you can. There you go. Same result. Yeah? So we're thinking about if the result is the success. You've had the same success with way less effort. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use these slalom poles. Okay, so you may have seen slalom before.
Yep.
It's racing down a whitewater course, going down through the green gates and back upstream through the red gates. So it's an Olympic discipline. We're going to use them not in that way, but we're going to use them for you to get some maneuvering practice, because you have to be able to apply that turn when you need to apply the turn. It's no point just being able to turn out here on your own. If you're going to come down and you're going to bang into something, you need to be turning when you want to turn, and you need to know how much you'll need to turn. Yeah. Okay? So, Gary, what we're going to do is you're going to paddle facing that way, turn to go downstream through that green gate, yeah? Downstream through the next green gate, okay? Upstream through the green gate that's in the middle there, and then upstream, and back over here. Okay. So just that little course of down and up, just make you use your sweep, and only way you can turn your boat is by using what we call those sweep strokes.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah? Go for it.
Ah, 2 points.
Good. Okay. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Difference?
Absolutely.
And the other thing that you're doing instinctively, which is great, is you're actually starting to lean the boat.
Okay.
Okay, so leaning the boat is one of a really efficient way to turn your boat, because the boats are designed with that in mind, that you can lean it. Just like a bike, you can get the boat.
That's the biker coming out.
Yeah, exactly, which is good, because moving further on to more advanced stuff, that leaning of the boat becomes really important for maneuvering. So
cool.
So you're instinctively doing that anyway, which is great.
Excellent.
All right, you think you could do that backwards?
I could have a crack.
Yeah. So have a go. Come across, backwards through this gate, backwards through that gate, and backwards out through the top gate there.
Okay.
Yeah. So from here, backwards, big turn, over, and then straight out.
I have to keep reminding myself how important the hips are. Because when I start, whereas before, I just make it, I'm like, okay, parrying, and now I'm just reminding myself, hold on a sec, just doing those movements, I would never have been able to do it like that before. Yeah. But because I'd be like, I'm using all my arms to try and spin myself around to make it. But now I'm consciously using the hips. Yeah. And I can't believe how easy that was. That just turned around. Obviously, it didn't look pretty, but for me, compared to where I was,
for sure.
Me feeling it, like, oh wow, how easy it was just using the hips. I barely used these at all. My arms. So much impact was on the hips.
Yeah. And even when you're going backwards, you can push off your feet.
The whole bottom, the leg, feet, kind of the feet, hips, kind of that swivel kind of movement. That made such an impact. I was barely using these at all. So they were just kind of more of a guide than anything else. Oh wow, okay. That's huge.
So, and this was lastly the important thing, especially when you're going backwards, not that you're going to be spending a lot of time going backwards, but it's good.
I had to keep reminding myself to push forward as well.
And I saw that correcting yourself, which is good a couple of times. Because actually when you lean back, you're going to dip the nose, and we feel like we have to lean back to try get a bit of extra reach, but actually the reach should come. I can get just about the same amount of reach by rotating my body as I can by bringing my arms back. So if I just keep my body square and move my arms, that's where I get it. Yeah. Whereas if I keep it like this and I rotate, I can get in the same position. So it's not about leaning back, it's about rotating into the stroke. Good stuff. I think that's a lot of stuff that I've kind of front loaded.
It's a lot, and I'm absolutely delighted with it. And I'm stopping myself from smiling because you can feel how easy it is. Like, this is just effortless. And then I overthink something and whatever. But that will come with time and practice. Sure. Because all the concepts are there, what I need to be doing. And I'm delighted. It's a huge difference. Absolute huge difference.
What we're going to do is we're going to kind of time how long it takes us to get back up here. Okay. And then later on you can figure out what that distance was. So we're just going to paddle along at that 50% rate. Okay. So we can be chatting and talking, but it's just to give you an indication. This is probably a couple of kilometers.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to maintain this for 60.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it'll give you an idea of where you're at with it,
Cool.
But more importantly than the time right now, or the speed, is the
getting
technique.
It right.
Yeah. So we mightn't actually probably talk a huge amount.
I was about to say, if I don't talk that much, it's probably because I'm thinking.
So straight away, sitting up straight. Remember, releasing that top hand. Look where you're going, push with your feet. So what we're looking at is that we can have a cadence so that the same stroke is happening on each side and that we're not out of our rhythm. Yeah? So you can have a nice cadence. That's what we're kind of working towards. And that just requires, because you have to do a little bit of maneuvering or thinking about how to maneuver at the moment, you kind of lose that cadence a little bit. It's just trying to keep those consistent strokes and keep you going where you want to be going. So this is a little resistance training as well, because we're paddling against the flow here. So just remember those elbows. That's it. And use your body.
That was 12 and a half minutes.
Okay, so about 5k an hour.
There you go.
Maybe just touching that 6k.
Spot
so
on.
That's not too bad. That's pretty good.
That was nice and comfortable.
Can you do that
for 10 hours? We'll find out in a couple of months.
Yeah. Now you're going to have a faster boat.
Yeah.
So.
And my technique will be a bit more efficient by then.
Hopefully, yeah. All right.
Spot on.
Yeah. So that gives you kind of a good indication of where you're at right now.
Yeah. And that was nice and comfortable. And a lot slower because I was concentrating so much. When I was getting something right, I knew I was getting something. When I got something wrong, I was overcompensating to get it right. So I was overthinking it, but I'm happy with that. I'm happy to overthink it at this stage because at least I'm At least I'm paying attention.
Yeah, so today I suppose we looked at our posture. What are the important things for you in terms of posture, and what are the kind of takeaway points for you?
Well, sitting upright for a start, and consciously using my feet and the legs, being aware that they have a lot of use and a lot of power, that they are exercising a lot of control. It's not all on my arms and upper body at all. Keeping my elbows up as well, reaching in and wider and out at my hip as opposed to the whole way back. Being consciously and of the hip movements. The swivel, and instead of rocking side to side.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, because when you say swivel of the hips, I think that invokes the rock. Yeah. If you just think about pushing your feet forward, the rock shouldn't happen.
The engagement of the
exactly.
Hips,
so like all of the movement of your body comes from your feet. Yeah. So if you just focus on pushing with your feet, the rest of it kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah, it's getting away from my previous mindset that everything is arms. Yeah, everything is arms. And it's not. Yeah. I can feeling how much control and power and movement comes from below the spray deck, not above. Yeah. And just being efficient with the paddle as opposed to, not all the way back like anymore. So and kind of further and wider, and being aware.
Definitely in that cruising phase where you're maintaining a speed, you'll want to have those strokes a little bit wider, a little bit lower. Yeah. When you want to accelerate, you'll bring them higher and closer to your boat. Yeah. So just to be aware of that, I suppose.
No, but this is probably the most comfortable this kayak has ever been in. I've been in it, so really.
No issues in terms of sitting in that position. So we've been in that position for about an hour and 45 minutes. It feels.
No, and just when we were coming in there, just these last few meters, I thought about that, and obviously, granted, we haven't been in it long. Yeah. But no, I'm feeling as I can sit on a motorbike for hours on end, and I'm feeling much more comfortable in this than I am sat in a fucking a motorbike, or a car. Yeah, just as I'm as comfortable as this though I would be, sitting in my car. Surprisingly enough, not even thinking of it. Give it 4, 5, 6 hours, I might be thinking differently.
Yeah, well, that's why I think it would be important to break your days up.
But at the present moment, there's no numb bum, no nothing like that. It's
good.
I'm really good.
And I suppose continue those exercises of opening out your groin, your abductors, all of those, your hip flexors, just making sure, spend a bit of time sitting down on the floor with your legs crossed. Yeah. Or simulate the sit position that you would have in your kayak.
Spot on.
All right.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Let's hop off. This is going to be the challenge. Hard to get out of your boat without falling out.
I'll bring waterproof footwear next time. Oh, I enjoyed that.
Well done.
Good stuff. Excellent.